What's the point of doing damage if there's nothing to kill? I've been around gaming for way too long, and the best groups always have somebody in a role when we're trying to push harder content. We saw this in Diablo 3, even when it wasn't really intentional by the designers, players still just figured it out. So while everyone was worried about all the juicy info that Riker got from the dev talk and the server slam weekend, I honed in on the subtle drop that supports are going to be required for Diablo 4 endgame. And let's talk about starting with limited deaths in Nightmare Dungeons. The Sacred Nightmare Dungeons will have a death limit of 12, and the Ancestral Nightmare Dungeons will have a death limit of 4. 4 deaths per run. That's gonna be rough. And who doesn't die in Diablo 3? Well, these guys, your Z builds. But here's the thing, and I've been planning this video since right after beta weekend, because I saw how much damage some people can do, and there's just not enough mobs for everyone to be killing 100% of the time. Also from Riker's video, we learned that monsters are going to hit really hard. So if you don't spec into defense or some kind of utility, you're going to die. It's one of the reasons we have 0 damage builds in Diablo 3. So DPS, you're going to need a barb to group things again. Side note, I'm very happy about that because I love being a zbarb in Diablo 3. And that's kind of my next point. Some people just enjoy playing support roles. It's what I like to do. And this is also a way for casual players or players that just don't have time to refine their skills to join in-game content. This allows everyone to provide value and play with friends and enjoy the game. The difference is that Diablo 4 supports, notice that I'm calling them supports, are going to do more than just buff the party. I've been calling them S builds. Let's get a little deeper into that. The support classes are going to have different roles. It's really impossible to say which class will have which role because there's going to be a lot of synergy to figure out with in-game. One of the main things is crowd control. We know monsters will get CC immune just like in Diablo 3. And just like in Diablo 3, we can't have everyone trying to CC everything. We'll end up with a ton of unstoppable monsters coming after us and running all over the place. Veilshot just dropped a video on CCing for bosses that you guys should check out, and he just barely scratches the surface that will need support builds. And then we'll have to complete objectives. There's a lot of in-game to do in Diablo 4. Unless you're on a mount, you move pretty slow between objectives and running around maps. So if an objective-focused support rogue comes in, he can grab the idol, he can run back and put it on the pedestal or wherever you gotta put it. That means that we're just gonna be doing boss fight after boss fight, and if you want farming, that's farming. This is going to be most useful for leveling glyphs. If this works right, we can just farm the bosses and clear dungeons a lot faster. And while we're trying to kill stuff, vulnerability is just too powerful not to take advantage of. But if a DPS has to spec into it, then they miss out on more damage. So if a support class can cause almost constant vulnerability, then they'll provide more value than trying to also do damage. And with all that, the supports are also going to be there for typical reasons, buffing and debuffing monsters. Some can do this better than others, but that's going to be something to look at once these roles start to flesh out a little bit better. As far as the classes go, I love the Barbarian, and it has a lot of options for support classes and for damage. There's a lot to work with there. Rogue is also going to be probably something to look at. Necromancer has a lot of opportunities with Bone Prison, I think causes vulnerability. The Sorceress does a lot of CC with her Ice build, so that might be a great option for like taking out the world boss. So yeah, we're going to see supports playing a huge role in the meta for Diablo 4. And that's it for me. Good luck out there.